Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Monday, December the 13th, and welcome to our video commentary. You know, there's so much media these days, there's so much time to fill that sometimes people in the news services promote some of the dumbest ideas that I've ever heard. And one of them is apparently somebody was saying that President Biden is getting more negative coverage than President Trump. This is so crazy that it really makes you wonder who's promoting this. Now, look, President Biden and President Trump are obviously two different kinds of personalities. No question about that. I mean, President Trump was more combative and he would fight the press, so I can certainly understand why, the coverage may have been more intense on the part of the media. But the bottom line is this: if President Biden today had the coverage and the intensity of coverage that President Trump used to have, well, number one, he would be at 10% approval because then the coverage would be so negative from all of the things happening, like the inflation and the border crisis and Afghanistan. The coverage would be so negative that Biden would be at 10%. And compare that, and not only the coverage, but imagine all the coverage of Hunter Biden. If they were using on Biden the Trump standard, the way the media would go after his family, can you imagine the way the media would be going after Hunter Biden? So no, there's no comparison. There's no question that President Biden has had a pretty easy ride with respect to the media, certainly compared to President Trump. I mean, the minute President Trump came into office, they started all these idiotic Russia things. All of them turned out to be false. Not a single story about Russia turned out to be right. And yet, the prizes or the recognition that was given to many members of the media for that has never been returned. Not a single member of the media has apologized to their audience for all of the coverage that they gave to stories that turned out to be false. And then, of course, the issue of his family. Look at all the attention that one of his sons would get or his daughter would get compared to the very easy ride that President Biden is getting. Yes, President Biden has very bad approval ratings. I agree with that. But believe me, it would be a lot worse if the media was treating him the same way they treated Trump. The reason that President Biden's approvals are 40%, some even under 40%, is because what's happening in the country, the inflation, what's happening on the border. I mean, Afghanistan is a disaster. We know that. So all of these things have combined to create approval ratings at 40% or under. There's also the perception, and I think it's a fair perception, that President Biden is not on top of the job. And then when you combine with that Vice President Harris is not exactly persuading people about her skills, you have a very tough situation for this administration right now. But believe me, those of us who went through the Trump 4 years, even the Bush years, I mean, even the second term, or George W. Bush, when the media was very, I think at many times unfair on President George W. Bush, nothing like that is happening today with President Biden. He's getting a free ride. And the people in the media who think he's not ought to go back and watch, for example, the way the media went after George W. Bush on Katrina back in 2005, or the way that the media treated President Trump constantly, looking for negatives and being very aggressive with him. I have no problem with an aggressive media, but I do have a problem with a media that selectively goes after politicians, and should be both sides should get the questions, and they certainly didn't. Joe Biden is not getting any questions. He doesn't take any questions to begin with. So whoever is running around saying that President Biden is getting more negative coverage than President Trump, I think that person needs to have their heads examined or questioned by people who actually know what happened in the two administrations. Thank you for watching. And if today is your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.